How many snaps did they run in the 14 personnel?
That's only for us.
100% of the snaps.
What is going on, guys? And welcome into the 5-minute debate. For those of you guys watching already, I basically used the intro tool as a way to shut Justin up right before the show starts, which is fun.
It's BS, and I'm on to you, and it still hurts my feelings.
All right, Justin. Well, anyways, moving on from your feelings.
Wait, quick side note. You're not going to compliment my haircut?
No.
Okay. Well, all right. Keep going then. That's all right. Go ahead. No, go ahead, man.
Hate your haircut. Moving on. So today we are debating. Is this our 7th or 8th episode? I think it might be 7.
It's 9, 10,
50, 54.
I don't know. You've missed 2, so I don't know how many. I don't know what number this is for you.
I think I've missed 1.
Okay.
That's neither here nor there. Today we are talking about CeeDee Lamb versus Calvin Ridley. And this is going to be a fun one. Honestly, both these guys are phenomenal players. Like, we'll preface how we have been prefacing. We're debating either side of this. Justin's talking Calvin Ridley. I'm going to talk CeeDee Lamb. Neither of us think that these players are bad. So just remember that when you're thinking about this. We're just talking
very
about
important.
What'd you say?
So that's very important. Although you don't like Calvin Ridley, I know that.
I'm not like in love with the guy, but obviously he's a good player. Neither of us are saying that the other person's player that they're talking about is a bad football player. So without further ado, Justin, you're our Calvin Ridley guy. Kick us off here. What are your thoughts on Calvin Ridley?
Looks like I got to get the timer going here. Was not ready. And okay. So I think, right now they're going back-to-back in ADP. CeeDee Lamb is going 1 slot ahead of Calvin Ridley at pick 17. Calvin Ridley is at pick 18. But to me, it's just, I know what Calvin Ridley is. And I think there's more value in that than people realize. And I get CeeDee Lamb is going to be phenomenal. But we just saw Calvin Ridley take that step into, a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. At least in fantasy. He is year in and year out proven to just be a stud. He's coming off of a season where he finished as wide receiver 5. That includes getting injured in 1 game, missing 2 others, and also putting up a 0 randomly in like week 5 or something. So in really 12 games, he was wide receiver 5, and I don't.
Well, we should count the 0. Like he played the 0 game.
It happened. So again, but still, his points just came from 12 games. And that's the freakish part about this is, exactly what he is. And yes, all of the upside in the world is there for CeeDee Lamb, but give me Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, totally. And I get it. And I think this is the little bit of the difficult thing with these guys is with one, you kind of have a known commodity in Calvin Ridley. And I say known because you kind of know what you have with CeeDee Lamb to a degree, but for Calvin Ridley, you know exactly what you're going to get. You know what the strengths of his game are at the NFL level. With CeeDee Lamb, there is a little bit more questions. Obviously, we've only seen 1 season of him. But really for me, like we said earlier,
really 5 games. Really 5 games.
So, and that's what I'm about to talk about. So Both these guys are phenomenal. CeeDee Lamb only had Dak Prescott for 5 games. Really, it was about 4.5 games. And in those games, he was averaging 17.12 points, fantasy points per game. And that put him on pace for 273.92 points for the fantasy season if he played all 16 with Dak, which would have put him 6 points behind Calvin Ridley, but at wide receiver 6 on the season. And so both these guys, like we said, they're phenomenal players. I think really where CeeDee gets the edge for me, because we're talking dynasty, of course, is Calvin Ridley had his breakout season, was phenomenal. He's 27. CeeDee Lamb hasn't had his breakout season, or he's going into his age 27 season.
I was like, he's 26 right now. Calm down.
Yeah, but he's going to be 27 next season. And he's going CeeDee, we haven't seen his breakout yet, and he's 22. And so, that's 5 years where in 5 years, CeeDee will be hitting Calvin Ridley's age now, and Ridley will probably be done with football or very close to it.
Right. No, and again, I totally hear it. And CeeDee Lamb, again, there's a reason he's going ahead of Calvin Ridley in drafts. Most people think that way. But to me, when I'm looking at 26, Calvin Ridley's got another 3 to 4 years of, locked in production. Yes, the Matt Ryan issue, or the Matt Ryan at quarterback is a bit of an issue. But with how his contract is structured, you have at least 2 more seasons. This year and then 2022, he has a $40 million dead cap. They're not going to eat that. It's just not going to happen. Yeah. So at least 2 more years, potentially 3 of Matt Ryan. And then just going back to Calvin Ridley's season, though, again, you obviously had those 3 down games in the middle where he got hurt and then missed 2 games. Weeks 1 through 7, that includes his first dud game of 0. He was the wide receiver 1. Weeks 11 through 16, he was the wide receiver 3. I mean, if he finished as the wide receiver 1 next year, I wouldn't be shocked. Like, that is very much in his realm of possibility.
Totally.
With a new offense, with a better run game. I mean, and I don't even care that Julio's there. Calvin is the 1A there, as far as I'm concerned. He is the best wide receiver on that team.
Right now, I would totally agree. Yeah. And basically what we've seen from Julio is that his body is starting to fall apart, break down.
Quickly, his pace, speaking of Julio's injury, Calvin Ridley's pace without Calvin Ridley is absurd.
Without Julio Jones.
Without Julio Jones. Thank you. He is, I'm going to pull this up to make sure I have it. He would average over 16 games over the last 2 seasons in games without Julio. 178 targets, 116 receptions, 1,700 yards, 6 touchdowns. He'd be the wide receiver 1.
Right. No, totally. And I think this is the differentiator for me. If you are a dynasty team that says this year is my year, I understand if you want to lean Calvin right now.
Very fair.
Because I think Calvin this year, and most likely Calvin next year, has a slight edge. And in the next 2 years, has a slight edge on CeeDee. But even that second year is where I think CeeDee starts to make moves on a guy like Calvin Ridley. And then he's got, 5 years after that as well.
Yeah, so it's a long-term play.
If you're a win now, I'm going Calvin. If you're a guy who's got a solid team, but you're still a little bit away, go CeeDee because you'll be grateful in the long run.
That's the way to do it for sure. I'm with you.
All right, guys. Well, let us know your thoughts below. Obviously, this was another W for me. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you guys next Friday. Let's ignore Justin. I'm not going to stop talking. Peace.